Good evening. I would like to call to order the Wednesday, January 8th meeting of the Presque City Council. We have 2 current councilors out of 7 present. We need to swear some in, but first we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 1 on our agenda is to administer the oath of office to our newly elected city councilors. Tyler, is this where you take over, or Kim?
We're actually going to point to Kim.
Fantastic.
She's going to go ahead and swear in our new officers.
You want to see if my chair can move yet?
I know it.
Pocket four-wheel drive.
See, you need to run over by you, counselor.
And you guys can say all together, raise your right hand and do this, and I'll hold mine. Right here,
I do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Maine, as long as I shall continue a citizen thereof, so help me God. I do swear that I will faithfully discharge all the duties incumbent upon me as Presque City Councilor for the city of Presque, according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maine, so help me God.
would you guys need to sign one?
Meg, welcome aboard. Mike, welcome back, and Craig, welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item number 2 on our agenda, are our council appointments. We are needing to appoint a council chair. Do you want me to just go down through the list and then we go back to the top? And
Makes it easy, yeah.
Okay. We're going to be appointing a council chair, a deputy council chair, a counselor to Aroostook Waste Solutions, 2 counselors to the Audit Committee, 2 counselors to the Finance Committee, 2 counselors to the Presque Development Fund Board of Trustees, up to 2 counselors for the Presque Downtown Revitalization Committee, and 2 counselors to the Presque Downtown TIF Advisory Committee, and 2 counselors to the Presque Industrial Council Board of Directors.
I think that's 1.
It's only one.
1,
Yes,
sorry,
just one.
my bad.
One counselor.
Good catch, thanks, guys. Appreciate the help. I was reading it out of there. Okay. So, how do we do this now? My apologies, I'm not very well versed.
No, you're good. So do we have candidates for the council chair position?
You nominate someone, and then we do a
Yep.
public
Who
vote.
does the nominating?
Well,
You guys.
Any,
Mr. City
Okay.
Manager, I will nominate Jeff Willett for council chair.
Second?
okay.
Just to give us an option, Mr. Chair, I would nominate Mike Jesse. There's nobody left to second, I guess, except for you, so I don't know how that works.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay, so we have two nominees on the floor. Kim can pass out some ballots.
Thank you.
5. I got 4 for Jeff and 1 for Mike.
All right, congratulations, Jeff.
Gotcha.
All right, very well, thank you. I'll do the best I can, I appreciate it. It's, means a lot, thank you. Up next, we're looking for nominations for the deputy council chair.
Mr. Chairman, I would nominate Mike Jassy.
We have a nomination for Mike Chassie. Do we need a second for that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Mhm.
I second that.
Yep, you can second that. And Mr. Chairman, I nominate Hank King.
And I'll second that as well. I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
That's all?
yes.
I'm just writing Mike's answer down. Three for Hank and 2 for Mike.
Thank you, Kim. Looks like you're the deputy chair, Hank.
Congrats, guys.
Congratulations.
Deputy for a year.
Okay, for the Aroostook Waste Solutions, we're looking to make an appointment for that.
So you'll need to nominate a counselor to be on that.
I'm sorry?
You'll need to nominate a counselor to be on the Aroostook Waste Solutions Board. Dana and I as a city manager and Dana as the city representative, serve on that already.
Anybody have any interest?
I do not.
Everybody stand up at once.
I'd be interested in being on it again.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I second that.
So at this point, we all just vote in favor of the motion to appoint Mike to the Aroostook Waste Solutions.
Oh,
All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries to appoint Mike to the Aroostook Waste Solutions. Next, we're looking to appoint 2 counselors to the Audit Committee.
Actually,
Actually,
just,
is your term expired on that, so are you?
Yeah, you
up
have
to-
to
okay.
you have to
Okay.
redo
Okay.
those.
So,
I'd be interested in being on it
You
again.
will.
okay, so we have Hank who's interested in one position. Kevin had previously held the other position. Is there anybody?
I'd put my name in if need be.
Okay,
Second,
so,
if we need that. No. Okay.
so we've got nominations and seconded, so is there a motion? For
I
that?
can move all nominations cease.
Second.
Seconded by Meg. All in favor? Unanimous, okay. Craig and Hank are now on the Audit Committee. Moving along to the Finance Committee, looking for 2 counselors. Currently Craig Green and Kevin Was.
Yep.
Any counselors?
So I'll continue if you want me to. What that one involves is we have to sign the weekly warrants for the pay and just look over the checks that are asked to be signed, and we do that weekly. We can do it electronically now, so it's much easier. We don't actually have to come into City Hall, but once in a while we do.
Okay.
So if you're available to come to City Hall during the week at least once, then it's the committee for you. If you can't, then
Is
probably
it,
not.
is it a standard day of the week, standard time, or is it?
Usually Wednesdays or Thursdays, usually.
Okay.
Usually by Wednesday at noon.
Yeah.
And as far as the warrants are concerned, we do send them to the
Email.
to the finance counselors via email.
Yep.
You can sign it via your email.
It's a pretty good way to quickly see what the city spends their money on too, like, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
We get the
I'm
full.
happy to
Yeah.
help with that, if that
I'd do it again.
is
and
of the,
Meg.
it's fine.
Okay, so the motion's been made to nominate Craig and Meg to the Finance Committee,
I second that.
seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries.
Great.
Moving along to the Presque Development Fund Board of Trustees. Was Kevin and myself on that board. I'm interested in serving on that board again as well. Anybody else have any interest?
When does it normally meet, Jeff?
As needed.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you'll have 2-3 meetings a year, and sometimes you'll have 6.
It's usually like late in the day,
It's-
one day a month.
Typically like the third Wednesday of the month is when we meet. However, it is as needed. If we do not have anything on the agenda, we will cancel the meeting.
And it's usually like late, like 4 o'clock or something like that. Usually.
Usually 4:30.
Yeah.
4:30.
You interested, Mike?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I'll second the nominations.
Okay. So, I can't make the motion.
Move nomination cease.
Yep. Nomination cease.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous, motion carries for Mike and Jeff to serve on the Presque Development Fund Board of Trustees. Give me just a second here, I'm trying to update my notes. Okay, up next for the Presque Downtown Revitalization Committee, we can appoint up to 2 counselors. Currently, there's just one. Hank, that's you.
Yeah, I'm interested in staying on.
Sounds good. Anybody else?
I'd be interested if you're not, Mike, I mean,
I've
you
got a-
actually have a business downtown,
I've got
so
a
if that-
full plate.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be interested in that.
All right.
I'd second,
So I nominate, Hank and Meg.
I'll second that.
Okay, so.
Move nomination cease.
Nomination cease. Thanks, Meg. I appreciate that.
Happy to help.
I truly appreciate that. All those in favor? Motion carries to put Hank and Meg on the Downtown Revitalization Committee. All right, up next is the Presque Downtown TIF Advisory Committee. Looking for 2 counselors to serve on that. Currently Hank and Craig.
I'd continue. We went through a training a few years ago on it, and I'd just soon continue. It's not something we meet that often, but if we do have to make changes to that in order to get a business or do anything that we need to do with it, I'd be happy to do that.
Hank,
You still interested?
Well, I was waiting to see if there might be somebody else that may be of interest.
It's
If
very,
not, then
it's
I will
very
step up and
infrequent.
take it.
Looks like Craig and Hank are both still interested, so.
I nominate Hank King and Craig Green for the Downtown TIF Advisory Committee.
Motion made by
Second.
Hank, seconded by Mike. All those in
All those in-
favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Welcome Craig and Hank to the Presque Downtown TIF Advisory Committee. Okay, last one here is Presque Industrial Council Board of Directors.
You're only filling Kevin's spot.
We're replacing Kevin.
I'd be interested in that one.
Okay.
I second that.
Nomination cease.
I
Right.
move nomination cease.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Hank.
Unanimous. Welcome aboard, Hank. Okay,
Look at us, all right.
so now we're on to some more appointments. My goodness, appointments. City charter appointed by council. First would be our city attorney, currently Richard Courier.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we reappoint Attorney Courier for his service to the city and thank him for all he's done in his past service.
Thank you all.
Motion made by Craig,
I'll second it.
seconded by Hank. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Rick, for all you do. We appreciate it. City Clerk. Currently, Kimberly Finnemore.
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion that we keep Kim Finnemore on as city clerk.
Second.
Motion made by Hank, seconded by Craig. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Unanimous. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Moving along, Code Enforcement Officer, Building Inspector, Housing Inspector, Electrical Inspector, Local Health Officer, and Plumbing Inspector, Tim St. Peter.
Mr. Chairman, I would, we recommend we reappoint Tim St. Peter to apparently the office of being MacGyver. And thank him for his service.
Absolutely.
Second?
Thank you, Meg.
I just amend that we appoint him to be the code enforcement officer.
Thank you, Mike. All those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, Tim. We appreciate all you do. Up next, Warden and Ward Clerk.
This is the first year you guys have appointed anybody, because they were always elected, and then we changed the,
Format.
Yes.
and Jane,
Do we
Did
have
one-
any?
it's me and Pam that we gonna put in, I guess.
Okay, so,
Give me another hat, is what, is
okay.
what.
So you'll be the warden?
I'll be the warden, and Pam would be the ward clerk.
Okay, and Pam,
Being Palm.
Palm, okay. I was pretty sure about this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'd move that we appoint Kim Finnemore warden and Pam Palm ward clerk per city charter.
Second.
Motion made by Craig, seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Unanimous? Welcome, Kim and Pam. Okay, on to boards and committees. Airport Advisory Board, 2 seats, 4-year term to expire December 31st, 2028. Who do we have for nominations for that?
Mr. Chair, I would recommend that we reappoint Larry Clark and James Quinn with terms to expire December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Meg, seconded by Hank. All those in favor? Unanimous? Okay, Rustic Waste Solutions. We have 2 seats, 1-year term to expire December 31st, 2025.
Mr. Chair, I move that we reappoint Dana Fowler and City Manager Tyler Brown for those positions.
Motion made by Hank,
Seconded.
Second.
seconded by Meg. All those in favor? Unanimous? Oh, excuse me. Okay, the
Assessment.
Board of Assessment Review, looking for 1 seat for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2027.
Mr. Chair, I move that we reappoint Stuart Libby for the Assessment Review Board.
Motion made by Meg,
Second.
seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Super. The Audit Committee, we have, let's see,
just a vacant seat,
just a
Yeah,
vacant
I don't
seat.
think we have anybody.
And,
basically. No, we have no applications. that
okay,
I've
so we
received.
just leave it
Yep.
vacant?
Yep.
Okay.
And the Presque Development, Fund Board of Trustees, there's no empty seats to reappoint, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Revitalization.
And there's nobody for but I have no applications for those. We have 3 vacant seats, so if anybody in the community wants to apply, they send me the application, I give it to the board decides if they want, then we put it in front of council.
Okay, so we have 3 vacancies for the Downtown Revitalization Committee. If anybody's interested, please come on in, see Kim. She'll tell you what you need to do. On to the Presque Downtown TIF Advisory Committee. We are looking one seat, 1 year term.
Mr. Chair, I move we appoint Floyd Rockhold to expire 12/31/2025.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mike, seconded by Hank. All those in favor? Welcome back, Floyd. Recreation, Library Board of Trustees. Looking to appoint Elaine Sipe and Suzanne Hughes to expire December 31st, 2026 as full members, and appoint Nadine Lamoureux as an alternate to expire December 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Seconded.
Craig and Meg.
We're going to be getting good at this.
All those in favor?
There we go.
Unanimous. Okay, moving along to the planning board. To reappoint Bruce Roop and Timothy Vernon to expire December 31st, 2028, and reappoint Sean Nordenhold to expire December 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving quickly along to the Rec and Parks Board. Excuse me, just 1 second. Is
There's also
there's
a
a vacant
vacant,
alternate seat for the planning board.
Yep.
Again, if anybody is interested in filling that alternate seat on the planning board, please come on in and see Kim, and she will gladly assist you. On to the Rec and Parks Board. We're looking to reappoint A.J. Kluge to expire December 31st, 2028. Appoint Denise Condon to expire December 31st, 2028. Appoint Rainey Kluge to expire also December 31st, 2028. Appoint Harold Hull to expire December 31st,
And
2025.
that's the alternate. I forgot to write that.
Harold's an alternate?
Yeah.
Okay. And that leaves us with one vacant alternate position.
Or two. There's still two.
Oh, there
Okay.
are still two.
I got you.
So moved?
Seconded.
Thank you, Meg and Hank. All those in favor? Unanimous. And the Zoning Board of Appeals. We have one vacant alternate position open. Anybody has any interest in this, again, come on in, see Kim. She'll set you up with what you need to do.
I'd just say too, we went through those appointments pretty quickly, but it's because there's some really great community-minded people, so it makes it easy.
Yep, I agree. Thank you, Mike. Let me just get caught up on my paperwork. The Ad hoc Airport Terminal Core Committee. Scott Wardwell, the airport director. Marty Kelly, operations director. Nate Grass. Kelly Hugh, United Station Manager. Larry Clark, appointed Airport Advisory Board. Extended committee members. City council member. Car rental representative, Shelley Prue. A TSA representative. United Airlines corporate real estate representative. Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce, Lenise Searway. And Presque Air Museum representative.
So I assume the United Airlines representatives are no longer and that those will be replaced by
Well,
Jeff?
Do they have to be reappointed
That-
or anything on that? It was just
Yeah, I
on
don't
the-
know what that needs for action.
That's actually,
Okay. Okay.
but,
I'll change.
but that's your committee that you have through that we just kind of authorize it and then you put people on it per the guidelines?
Yeah, it's
It's not an
for
official
lack of a
board.
better word, it's kind of like the building committee. They're the
Yeah.
the first group of people were like the very core people who directed the architect, and
Right.
and then as opportunities presented itself, the architect would reach out to like the car rental representative or the TSA representative.
Yeah.
How often do you meet, Scott, and how much work is it?
Essentially, when we were designing the terminal, we were meeting sometimes every couple weeks, but now it's that phase of it is essentially pretty much over. They may meet 2 or 3 more times over the course of the project.
And Tyler, do you expect we'll have something similar for the downtown project? Okay.
Very much so.
Hmm.
We'll need it.
Okay.
So on that extended committee, are we looking for a city council member to be present, represent, or is it,
For the airport?
yeah?
Or well, no, I'm sorry, a specific city council member?
Hmm.
No, we're just, looking to reappoint the core committee here.
Okay.
And those would be the JetBlue station. Kelly Hugh is now with United Ground Services, and the other individual would be the JetBlue corporate real estate representative.
So I move we reappoint the committee as formed.
Mhm. I'll second that.
Motion made by Craig, seconded by Hank. All those in favor? Unanimous? Okay, the ex officio appointments to boards and committees. We've got 3 ex officio seats, 1-year term to the Airport Advisory Board. City Manager, Tom Powers and Scott Wardwell.
That's what we just did,
Isn't it? No,
No,
I
that's it.
just did,
Oh,
no.
that was.
They're different
They are
committees.
different ones?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The Airport Advisory Board meets monthly.
Got it.
You wanna do these individually, these next 4, Tyler, or as?
Yes, yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, for the ex officio appointments to boards and committees, for the Airport Advisory Board, 3 ex officio seats, 1-year term, it's the city manager, Tom Powers and Scott Wardwell.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor? Well, Library Board of Trustees, 2 ex officio seats, 1-year term, Elise Keene and Laura Smith.
So moved?
Seconded.
All those in favor? Presque Development Fund Board of Trustees, 3 ex officio seats, 1-year term. Tom Powers, city manager, and the,
Who's that stand?
help me out.
DIECD Director.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a C, not
That'd
an
be
E.
that'd be Tim St. Peter.
Gotcha.
Got it.
That's cross out, all right. Tim,
Timmy.
because that's easy.
That would have been
Anyway.
easier, yes.
Right. Okay.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved by Meg, seconded by Hank. All those in favor?
Right.
Super. And the Presque Downtown TIF Advisory Committee, 3 ex officio seats, 1-year term. We've got the city manager, Laura Smith, and Tim.
Good job.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right, thank you. Got that behind us. All right, up next, we're looking to set city council meeting times and places for 2025. Historically, we've always met on the first Wednesday at 6 p.m. in council chambers. But we have what looks to be
Request to meet at 5:30.
a request to meet at 5:30 with the dates. You want me to read through the dates, or pretty much?
No, you don't have to.
I have one request on the dates. The February 5th date, we're traveling down to, we've got the Antique Automobile Tour that we're hosting in August this year. It'll be a whole week here in Presque. So we're traveling to the National Convention, and we have to be gone on Wednesday in order to get there for Thursday, 'cause it's in North Carolina. It's no big deal if I'm not here, but if we could do the following Wednesday in February like we're doing this month,
It'll be the 12th.
there's no conflict with me, but it's not important. I just throw that out there.
Oh.
But I don't know what your schedules are. If there's,
I like the 5:30 time.
yeah, that's fine with me too.
Is there a reason for the half-hour change?
Not
done a half
specifically,
hour
just to
earlier.
get out of here a little earlier, yeah.
I'm curious about Doug's input on that as well, but
Yeah.
whatever. Whatever it is what it is.
You could approve or deny as you wish, and we could always make a motion at the next meeting to change it going forward if it doesn't
Mm.
work.
I think I'd make a motion to do that, because at that point in time, we would have full council and we would have Doug, so then we could actually set it, that's gonna work for everybody.
So is that essentially tabling?
A motion to table.
tabling that?
Motion to table number 4.
Okay.
However, you would wanna set the meeting for then February
For February.
first.
Yeah.
So we could at least set February for either
And
the
it's,
fifth
and
or
it's
the
fine.
twelfth.
I mean, if it works for you guys, it works. If it doesn't, it
Can we just reopen it later tonight when he's here? It sounded like he was coming, but late.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll put that off to the side, then no table it, sorry.
Very well. Well, with item number 4 being put off to the side, that brings us to a recess
Change the agenda.
for the, it brings us to recess for the Presque Industrial Council Annual Membership Meeting. We will recess.
You have to make a motion to recess.
Oh,
I
I'm
make a
sorry.
motion that we recess
Okay. Thanks, Meg.
for the
Craig.
industrial council membership.
All those in favor? Great, thank you. So that brings us now to the Presque Industrial Council Annual Membership Meeting.
Alright.
This is still.
That's us.
That's all.
We're the
That's us.
we're the board.
Alright,
Mr. Powers.
Well, the council member is actually part of the board myself.
Mm-hmm. And Tyler, right?
You guys run the meeting, and I'll come up with you.
okay.
So,
So what we need a motion to call to order the,
I think you called order.
Yep, you need to call the meeting to order, the annual membership meeting.
5:36.
thanks, Meg. So at 5:36, we're going to call to order the Presque Industrial Council Membership Annual Meeting for January 8th, 2025. We are looking,
So, Mr. Chairman, I would move we accept the meeting minutes for January 3rd, February 6th, March 6th, and June 5th, 2024 as presented.
Second?
They're in our packet.
okay, motion has been made by Craig and seconded by Meg. All those in favor to accept the meeting minutes? Unanimous? Motion carries. Okay, item number 3 is the election of directors. A city council nominee, a nomination submitted by city council.
That would be
It's Hank.
Hank.
So I move that Hank King serves as a director for the Presque Industrial Council.
Motion made by Mike to nominate Hank.
Second by,
Anybody second it?
oh, I will second.
Seconded by Craig. All those in favor? Unanimous? Welcome aboard, Hank. B, the Chamber of Commerce nominee, nomination submitted by the Chamber.
Did we take the vote for that?
5-0.
Well, actually,
all, yeah,
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the nomination submitted by the Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce for Margot Dyer to the Industrial Council membership.
Second?
All those in favor?
You voting, Tom?
Motion carries.
Oh, yes, who seconded it? I'm sorry.
Craig did.
Craig.
Yeah.
Next is the election of a director at large. Nomination submitted by current Presque Industrial Council Board.
Ray Hughes.
Nomination of Ray Hughes.
I move Ray Hughes be elected for a 3-year term, or nominated, I guess I should say, and appointed, for PI director.
I'll second that.
Moved by Craig, seconded by Hank. All those in favor?
It has to be.
Oh, no, I would have to nominate him.
It's gotta be
By Jeff or Hank?
Margot, Scott, or Jeff.
Okay, so I nominate Ray Hughes for a 3-year term as a director at large on the Presque Industrial Council.
I'll second it.
Sorry about the confusion. All those in favor? 7-0.
Tom voted too.
Okay, there being no other nominations. Oh, wait,
You just did
no,
that.
we
got
just
the
did that.
Yeah.
Okay,
The report?
on to, section 4, the annual report. And that, I believe, is going to be presented by Mr. Tom Powers.
There, now I know what to do.
Sorry for the rocky intro.
That's all right. I couldn't write fast enough, guys. My apologies.
Get a recorder, take dictation.
Really? Probably better pull these down if I'm gonna read this. All right, well, good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Tom Powers, of course. I'm the director of the Presque Industrial Board. And actually, if I were to do this properly, I should pass this out, because I made copies for everybody. Okay.
The report?
It's the report. Hard to imagine. Welcome aboard, Hank.
Thank you.
Sir.
Welcome aboard, Jeffrey. Nice to meet you. Not enough for everybody, hard to imagine.
Good job.
Good job. So this is the Industrial Council's annual report up to the City Council and whoever else is interested. And as you can see, I'll start out by saying thank you. Industrial Council Board of Directors, I'd like to say that thank you to the Board of Directors, the City Manager, the City Council for their support with the projects and negotiations that took place in 2024 up at the park. The boilerplate here is the Industrial Council is a corporation governed by a board of 7 directors. We meet monthly, normally on the second Thursday of the month. We have an executive director, which is myself, the associate director, which is Ruth Kern-Doherty, and we act on the behalf of the city's interests at the industrial park and within the city. We're not just bordered by what goes on in the park. The Industrial Council employs 4 year-round people, myself, Ruth, our maintenance foreman, and then our grounds foreman, and then we have a part-time summer employee that some years we have a good time finding person, some years we don't do so well, and then those employees oversee the maintenance and improvements of the city's buildings and grounds. So as you can see, we're not very heavily staffed and we have a lot to do. The city's assets, the buildings pretty much, on the park have an assessed value of over $60 million according to our insurance records, and we work on about 140 acres of the industrial deeded park. The park is actually larger than that. A lot of it is encompassed by what we call the airport deeded portion, which is overseen by Mr. Wardwell. We estimate the park provides somewhere over 800 jobs up on there, and that's not to include the students and residents that travel up in the park. So if you were to go there on any morning, you'll find that it's a very, very busy place throughout the day. It's actually surprisingly busy. And we have over 60 businesses and industries and organizations on the park, so we're pretty diverse. One of our greatest assets is the location in Presque. It provides the availability of growth. We have a modern infrastructure with all our utilities. We have a diverse number of tenants that do numerous different things, which is very helpful. All our eggs aren't in one basket. And we have the ideology of Presque of wanting to grow. So it makes us a very interesting place for future businesses or any business to want to look at us. So that we're enviable in that regard. So some of the nuts and bolts that Ms. Kern-Doherty oversees is the accounting breakdown. And you'll see that we operate quite well. Our operating expenses equal approximately $445,070. So we're under our budget by about $16,864. Our income equaled $1,251,453. So we're $1,255 below our projection. Not too bad for projecting that far out. Our debt service and capital appropriations totaled $736,612. As you'll see, I'll get to that in a moment. In addition, our rental income from the railroad system generated about $75,000, and that goes directly into a reserve account for our annual operating expenses, whether they be insurance or maintenance on that system, or any future improvements that we deem necessary. In 2024, the seasonal storage accounted for just over $100,000 of rental income, and it was all produced from one area. We only have one building left that we do this within, and that serviced about 112 different tenants and about 200 pieces of equipment. So for a 90,000 square foot building, it's filled quite full. I joke with Ruth, it's calling it a Tetris game. She does a pretty good job. So the next line reads, in 2024, the park's operation was 100% self-sustaining. In our accounting practices, we include all our construction debt and costs associated with those projects. The industrial park is able to maintain a positive cash flow throughout 2024, and all our expenses were calculated in. So this isn't a shell game where we hide money over here, but we really spent money over there. This is a totally transparent procedure where we truly do account for all our expenses, and this is what you're seeing is what we made in its totality. In 2024, the seasonal storage accounted for, I already said that, sorry. So a large portion of our allocated funds go towards improving the city's assets, whether it be improving the buildings, building buildings, upgrading the grounds or those buildings, modernization of any of those existing assets. Most of our projects listed below were completed on time, within or lower than the estimated budget. So if you go to the second page, you'll see a long list of stuff. This has actually been a slow year, 2024, or we called it a slow year at least, or thought it would be a slow year, more of a rebuild year, and we had to clean up some of the things that we had started in 23. But some of the things that we can say went on in 24 is we had a 4-acre land sale to a fairly large agricultural firm, and those monies will be used towards future expansion. They're scheduled to build a new warehouse in that 4 acres, which will bring additional jobs into the area and solidify them within this area. We completed constructions on what we call Building 1206, which was a 12,400 square foot insulated transdock facility, and we received a long-term lease from the people leasing it, and it was actually leased before it was completed, so we count that as a win. We acquired the old Humane Society building. They had built a new building this past year up on the industrial park. The city owned the grounds that the old building was on. We gave them the opportunity to build on city ground again in a new location, but in return for that lot, we asked them that they would transfer that building over to us, which they willingly did, and so now we have another building to renovate and hopefully rent out. We updated and are currently updating and modernizing some office policies. Pretty antiquated. It's been a lot of years since it's been looked at. So we went to addressing a need for a payroll services or having our payroll done by a payroll service. PTO or paid time off is now the mandate that we have set instead of having sick time and vacation time and personal time and everything else. We updated our retirement program to make our operation more appealing to someone who may want positions within our facility in the future. And we also addressed some of the things about work week hours, and should we be looking at changing those hours or making sure that we maintain service, but do we need to have people there in the same numbers that we currently have? So that was actually quite a challenge, and we pretty well worked through it. Central Drive sidewalk has now been lit. Thank you very much, councilors, for your work on that, and that's all to address our interconnection with the city proper and to maintain safety for the people that live within our city. There's been some improvements done this past year at Peace Park again. We had done a parking area the year before with the National Guard doing the majority of the work for little to no money. And but this year we did the fencing for around the small and large dog park areas. We brought the water line in from Parsons Street and put it up into a cement slab that we poured be able to put a fountain that's been acquired for both the people and the dogs that use the area. So we're just biting off small pieces of the park, but it's not costing the taxpayer very much money, if any at all, to do these improvements. And I think it's, every day I drive by, I see people there, so it almost feels like a win. The work has been completed at what we call solar sites 1 and 2, which occupy our north and south borders of the park, and they are just waiting for activation from Versant. And I believe that is scheduled to happen right off, and should have happened by now, quite frankly, but it's coming soon. The roof was replaced on one of the buildings that we acquired, and Kearney Family Beverage currently leases from us, entirely a new roof and some repair work done underneath that roof. We did repair work on a couple of the city's assets, which are Building 402 and 401, better known to locals as the old Tater Mill Annex building and the IP building. We did work inside, we did substantial work in 603, which is a food storage warehouse we currently have rented out. We installed heat pumps, we did concrete floors that needed to be removed and re-poured. We've done some food safety installations, borders and stops that were requested to have done. And so we have a new fairly long-term lease with the folks that occupy that area. We've repaired and replaced roofing on side canopies at one of our very first buildings, 1201, where FedEx resides, and we have 2 other tenants, and we did the canopies on that. We've remodeled, or are starting and in the middle of remodeling, one of the first buildings as you come onto the base. We call it Building 131. The last people in there was Acme Monaco, and now is currently Northern Events. So we're looking at doing remodeling in that, adding restrooms, offices. We've removed some exterior equipment, did some concrete work, and made ATA compliance one of the things we wanted to work towards. And I won't say finally, but one of the other major things that we did do was in 403, we did the siding on one of the sides of a fairly large building that a lot of the siding was damaged, and that was just completed in November of this year. So those are the items that were worked on in a slow year, and we're pretty happy to have them all done. With that, I'll just close out by saying we have 100% of the park's buildings leased, the largest percentage of its acreage leased since its inception or the foundation of PIIC. So it's allow us to look at other things and look to the future. And so I stated here, our greatest challenge for 2025 is to determine what will best serve the residents of Aroostook County and then make it happen. And I think that's a very true line. Half the work is trying to figure out what's next, and the other half is trying to make it happen. In closing, I'd like to thank everybody again. I'd like to recognize the actions of the people who make up our boards, the municipal government, and area councils. Those individuals deserve recognition for their efforts, their support, and their guidance. We greatly appreciate all that you do. Respectfully submitted, Tom Powers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Nicely done.
Any questions from anybody? And
No, I just my congratulations. You guys have done wonderful work. I mean, the industrial park is a huge benefit to our community. It continues to be something that, you know, as we meet with other cities and town leaders in Aroostook County, they all say, "Wish we had one." And so you're kind of the envy of the county, and not only that, but congratulations this year on the rankings within the state. Where you placed so highly amongst development authorities of sorts like you are within the state of Maine. So not only is this something that you've done a wonderful job in our area, but you're recognized all over the state of Maine for excellence and doing something that, frankly, in 1961 was a fight amongst the council and the community to even say this is something that would be good. And so you've taken that mantra from some longtime supporters of our community, and you've marched on with it, and I thank you.
I'll preface that by saying that's a we.
Yes, absolutely.
And everybody around this table is included, and everybody on our board of directors, and everybody in Aroostook County that works towards that. So it's always a team.
So, and Tom, the only thing I'd add to that is you guys have done a great job, but you're 100% full now. And when I sat on the board, we talked about sort of a master 10-year plan, and I think we're at the point now where that should be a priority.
I agree.
And, it probably will help with future funding and whatnot if you can show where you want to go.
And I would say you're 100% right, Mike. I've done a marvelous job of spending what took Mr. Clark years to accumulate. And so now there's not very much left in our coffers. And I say that, you know, we have well over $1 million. But quite frankly, in the building world today, that's not very much. So we will have to look at other avenues of how we can fund future projects, and that needs serious consideration. I'll also leave with the comment of saying free money is never free, so we have to be careful of how we go about things. But you're absolutely right, Mike. That 10-year plan is a good thought.
One thing, if I could clarify, Tom, how many acres does the industrial park encompass?
So the industrial deeded area was around 450. We've sold off. Well, FW Webb took about 7.5 acres out of it. And with this Helena, that'll minus another 4 acres out of it, and a few other minuses. So the estimation is around 440 on the industrial side.
You had said 140 when you were.
Oh, I said that.
I was
My
like,
apologies.
Oh, hang on a minute.
No, we probably
Yeah,
mow
440.
well over
Yeah,
100 and something
absolutely.
acres. Yeah.
Nice. Great.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Tom. All right, with
Move
that,
we adjourn the industrial council meeting.
Second.
thank you, Meg and Craig. All those in favor? And that concludes the Presque Industrial Council Membership Annual Meeting for January 8th, 2025. So City Council reconvenes at 5:55.
Mr. Chair, now that all 7 of us are here, can we go back to agenda item 4,
Certainly,
the schedule?
absolutely.
There you go.
Let me get back to where we were. All right,
6 of these.
welcome Doug. How you doing?
Oh, I just got finished utilizing some city services, so.
Fantastic.
Thank you for your contributions.
What we have before us, Doug, is setting the city council meeting dates and times for 2025. It had been mentioned that there was an interest in switching to 5:30 p.m. versus 6 o'clock p.m. on our first Wednesdays. And, well, we just wanted to make sure you were included in this. So we put it off for a few minutes and
Thank you.
coming back to revisit. Wondering what concerns, if any, or questions you may have regarding this.
Craig also had a conflict on the 5th.
So,
Me
playing devil's advocate just for a second, because I mean, I'm flexible with 5:30 or 6. Would the public getting out of work, does 5:30 or 6, do you think make any difference for them getting here? And is that a consideration? Or I guess I don't know what anyone thinks. I mean, if we did have, I don't know if it was email communication, but it was some kind of communication late in the year there about someone just saying it's hard for them to get to our meetings sometimes after working all day and things like that and rushing here. So I don't know if that was just frustration or if it was, you know, a real concern. I guess I don't know. I do remember that email, but that's just one person too, so.
For me, it's also the employees that are a consideration.
Yep.
Most of their work days probably generally end at 5. So if we wait till 6, they're just hanging around. This lets them get home half an hour earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I got no,
For me, I mean, I
Strong.
can make whatever work. I mean, sometimes it's a challenge. I mean, 5 o'clock really doesn't mean a whole lot where I work and what I do. I work till the work's done, but we're gonna make adjustments and accommodations,
any
so be it. It's whatever the
thoughts?
council decides to do.
I'm actually comfortable with the 6 o'clock. And that's only because from the time that I get out of work and then get home and then get cleaned up a little bit and then get back in here, usually I'm pushing right up against 5:30, so.
I mean, historically, has it ever been any other time other than 6 o'clock? I mean, did council ever used to meet at 5 or earlier, or is
Not in
6
my
always been the one?
recollection, in my tenure, did we meet any time other than 6. That's,
Okay.
and again, for not any particular reason,
Right,
it's just never changed.
And I think the larger intent is
Yeah.
the back end, how long we're here.
Yep.
So I don't know if that can be one of Jeff's number one priorities,
To speed things up?
which I know you can. You can put turbos on anything. So.
I like that.
But my concern, someone had brought up 5 o'clock, and not even so much for us, but for the general public wanting to attend.
Sure.
The normal work day is 4:30 to 5, and for similar reasons that Hank said. I think every town council in every other town is 6 o'clock, and that's probably for a reason. So. But doesn't
All
matter.
right. Well,
I move the
So-
regular city council meetings be held on the first Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. in city council chambers, with the exception being February, which will be held on February 12th.
Well, I think, Craig said it best when he said that, we can do this without him being here, so I would actually move that we leave February 5th alone.
Amen.
I'd like to make amends.
That's fine.
I accept the amendment.
all right, we've got a motion by Mike with an amendment from Hank, which also would serve as the second, I'm assuming. So, all those in favor of holding our meeting times at 6 p.m. on the first Wednesdays for the year of 2025? Unanimous. Great. Okay, so that brings us to public hearings. For all of these sunset provisions that we have in front of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You want to go through these individually or pass them as a whole, or are there any that you folks feel need to be discussed? Or
So my understanding is, Mr. Chairman, is that there are some edits that are needed, but that the appropriate procedure is to renew all of them as they exist, so that nothing sunsets. And then at the next council meeting, we can do a first reading to propose
the- yep.
edits.
At the end of
Propose
this
the
meeting,
changes.
you can propose to schedule a public hearing. We have to technically have 3 meetings.
What she said.
Whatever ones you want to change, we have to propose the public hearing, and then at those next 2 public hearings, we have to have the changes so everybody can
Comment.
vote on them and comment.
Okay.
Okay.
So can we do them all together
Yep.
at
Yes.
this point?
You can vote to
Yeah.
pass them all together.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But
Is
just
there-
because this is your first night, Meg, we're gonna read them all individually.
Thanks, Hank.
You're welcome.
We're all gonna take turns.
Line by line.
Mr. Chair, I move we pass the ordinance as listed.
I'll second that.
And then I would also like to instruct that we open a public hearing to review the conduct in public parks, recreation areas, and facilities, Chapter 40 ordinance, Chapter 41 bike and walkers paths, and Meg, which was the other one you noticed there was an issue with?
Chapter 5, traffic regulations.
Chapter 5 traffic regulations for a public hearing at the next meeting.
All right.
Fine.
Motion on the floor.
So, yeah, second to that.
Okay, so all in favor? All right,
Now,
motion passes.
And just to help on number 40, it referred to parks that no longer exist and didn't have all the development we did at Riverside. The bike and walkers path is missing any inclusion of electric bikes, which are accepted, by the national government. And then the traffic regulations referred to a incorrect price for parking at the airport.
Very well. Okay, so on to agenda item number 6. We're looking at an application for an adult use and medical marijuana license to Steve Runsack, doing business as Full Bloom Cannabis with a location of 445 Main Street. Mr. City Manager, would you
Yes, Mr.
have
Chair.
anything to add to that?
I don't have much to add. This would be for a second location of Full Bloom within the city limits. They would be occupying the former Cosmic store on at 445 Main Street. They have applied, their application's been reviewed and accepted, and our code enforcement has signed off as well.
Very well.
Any quick discussion?
Any further discussion? Anybody? That's that?
So is this a different use?
This is another location? Is that what I heard? It's in addition to their existing.
So a couple of corrections. One, it's gonna be just an adult use store, and it'll be a second location at this current moment. The current location, the building is being sold, and they're not gonna renew the lease for the occupants. So at a later date, he plans to let that license lapse at this current time.
So it's moving, basically.
Right, he's moving, but
Eventually.
Gotcha.
to not interfere with business and everything else, he's
Okay.
submitting for a second license at this time.
Got,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right.
okay, makes sense.
Looking for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move we approve the license for adult use medical marijuana to Steve Rusnak, DBA Full Bloom Cannabis with a location of 445 Main Street.
Anybody get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Hank. All those in favor? 7-0, unanimous, motion carries.
Also, can we go back? Mike made a motion to pass everything, and Hank seconded it, but you didn't vote on the passing the sunset. We
Right.
went right into,
Ooh, my bad. My bad. Thanks, Kim. So, if we could revert back to item number 5,
basically, we just need to vote.
Just need a vote.
just
The
need a
motion
vote.
was made and
Okay.
seconded.
So, all those in favor? 7-0. 6-0? Who was 7-0, wasn't it?
No,
Six.
still the chair.
There's no 7 yet.
There's no
We were
seven.
7 in
My
the,
bad,
in
my bad.
the
Right, right,
industrial
yes,
council.
I gotcha. I'm with you. Go ahead, laugh. It's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
It's all good.
I can take it.
We're good.
All right, so now to agenda item number 7. For the approval for the USDA loan to fund the new airport project. So, the city of Presque is applying on behalf of the Presque International Airport for federal assistance with the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development. This assistance is needed for the purpose of financing the Presque International Airport Terminal Replacement and Apron Project. The financing amount equals roughly $12 million if no other grants are awarded. As part of the application process, the city is required to allow citizens an opportunity to become acquainted with the proposed projects and to comment on such items as economic and environmental impacts, service area, alternatives to the project, or any other issues identified by rural development. The financing from the USDA will result in a 30-year debt obligation at a 3.875 interest. This will be funded through the airport operations and will not be passed on to the taxpayers.
Okay.
Anybody have anything they want to add to that, or concerns or questions?
Tyler? Bring Scott up or Tyler?
This is a public hearing too, right? So I think we should open it
Mhm.
as a public hearing.
Yeah, we're still in the public hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's any public comment. I don't think we need Scott to
Yeah, we're
talk.
still in the public hearing portion, so we should have open hearings. You'd wanna invite anyone to comment if they wish.
At this time, I'd invite anybody up to the podium who would like to comment or have any information to share, provide, or anything of that nature. Now's your chance. Seeing none, moving on. We'll look for a motion to, no, it's just public comments. There's no action.
Yep.
Right?
That's correct. You don't need to vote on this. This
Okay,
is just
so,
I have a question
part of
though.
the loan process.
How does the bond work if we get grants or when do we have to start paying on the funds? Like instantly or as we use them?
So for the USDA, it is, you need interim financing until the construction is completed. So we would have to use another form of loan until the construction, so about 18 months. We would have to pay it until the construction's completed. And then the loan would swap over to the USDA at that time.
Okay, and so if we get additional grant funding or whatever,
It
we
be
would
less than that
we would
loan.
request less.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
good question. Okay. All right, if nothing else, we'll move along to the citizen comments portion of our meeting. At which point in time, citizens are allowed to come to the podium and speak on whatever item they choose to speak on. You can also submit your comments via email to our city clerk, Kim Finnemore. I don't know how to get there, but
Kay Finnemore at presquelme.us.
thank you, Kim. Do you have any citizen comments that have been submitted to you via email or any other social?
Nope.
Stream? Thank you. Nobody? Seeing none? We'll move along to the consent agenda. This would be item number 8, to approve the minutes from October 2nd, 2024, October 8th, 2024, and October 9th, 2024. Do you want to break these down individually, or you want to pass consent agenda items 8 through 14 as presented?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we just accept them as is in one grouping.
Second?
Motion has been made by Hank and seconded by Meg to,
Do we need to give any more attention to the tax acquired properties possibly?
Right.
So we don't end up acquiring something we don't want?
Yes, if I may, Mr. Chair, I would recommend that you,
Pull out 13?
yes, 13, you consider separately.
okay,
I retract my motion.
well, is that a retracted motion or an amended motion?
No, I'll retract it.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a new motion that we, on the consent agenda, consider items 8 through 12 and 14.
motion has been made by Craig to approve the consent agenda items 8 through 12 and 14.
Second.
Thank you, Meg. All those in favor? 6-0. Motion carries. Now, back to the consent agenda, item number 13 for tax acquired properties. There is some discussion that looks like should be had in regard to our tax acquired properties. Who would like to take from here?
Jim, you got any
Yeah.
comments? Oh,
So-
sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. So in regards to the tax acquired properties on 12/5, they matured the 2022 tax liens. Per our charter, the city council has 21 days upon receipt of this listing to determine if any of these are to be retained for municipal use, or if they are to be disposed of. That said, we do have a list of the properties provided to you. And they are up for your consideration if we wish to hold them for municipal use, or sell them off as you wish.
So, Mr.
Or-
Chairman, the first one that I would make a motion on or bring the attention to is number 2. It's a 1.1 acre parcel of land that's along the Presque stream, previously owned by the Central Aroostook CB Radio Club. This property is in the middle of city property that we acquired a few years ago from the Water Sewer District. So it's kind of the missing pie piece in between our pieces of property. So this property should be retained for city use, because this is where we had discussed about either putting another boat landing, or it could also be sold off as lot parcels for redevelopment. But it is right in the middle of all of the other city property. It's kind of the only missing piece that we didn't acquire when we bought it from the Water Sewer District.
Is that over on Chapman?
Yes, yes. It's down, it's right along the river, and it's a small pie piece.
Is that where that dirt road goes down
Yes.
there to the stream?
Yes, yeah, right. It's the last dirt road on Chapman after you go by all the houses and the
Right.
water plant.
Yep.
It's where that road ends up, that piece right by the river.
Okay.
So that one I would recommend we keep.
Can I ask why ones that we have already acquired are on here, I guess?
Yeah, so we just, per city policy, we just need you to determine whether we wish to keep them for municipal use, we wish, or not.
So that wasn't done when we acquired them the previous year? Or are you saying these are just acquired
These are the properties that matured in 2022 that you voted on in December.
last? Okay, gotcha, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I thought already a year had passed, so.
Is there anything here that would require expensive demolition or has the potential to be a liability for the city if we acquire them?
Well, they're already acquired. This is just whether or not they're going to be turned back to the owner if the owner pays, or
If we wish to
or if
offer
we
them.
want to sell them.
Yeah, or if we wish to offer them a payment arrangement.
Right.
Or not. Yep. In order for Laura to move forward with any sort of payment arrangements or agreements, we have to go through this process.
So I guess if I were to kind of summarize it, then my understanding is we have the first right to refusal to say we aren't going to do anything other than sell them, if we will, or keep them because the city has development plans for that.
Correct.
Right, okay. So,
Has there been any consideration for development or use of these lots in terms of housing shortage and ways that we might be looking to improve housing opportunities on city-owned property?
For,
Or any of these are all of these properties basically too small or in poor enough condition that that's not a consideration?
for these specific properties,
For
we
these
have,
properties.
we have not had any consideration as far as development is concerned. We do have other properties that we have designated for development.
Okay.
so just, I guess just kind of historically, if I might, I just would say that generally speaking, when things get to this point with people that own properties, then we've historically allowed them to see if they wanted to make an arrangement to acquire their property back first and make some kind of payment arrangement, which to this point, for whatever reason, they had not. Not to disenfranchise anyone from their own property, I guess, is the major thing. Then, if they do not want it or make an arrangement, then I think our past mode of operation basically would be to turn them over to our real estate agent, and then they sell them. We do not keep the money from them, though. I believe that the purpose of that is to sell them at market value. The owner of the property would get the difference of the market value and what we have for expenses against it, either marketing expenses or taxes or liens of any sort that we have, and then they would get the balance of it. So is that,
So we have to sell it for fair, yes, we sell it for fair market value, then minus the taxes and expenses.
Right.
Whatever's left over does go back to them.
right? So,
Thank you.
And we have, if I may, counsel, that many of these individuals have either come to us with points of negotiation or desire to arrange a payment agreement already.
They
Good.
have, good.
good, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you hope.
Yeah.
Okay, so, with the exception of, number 2 on this list, what do we do from here? What's our next move on all of this?
Can I ask for our city attorney's expert opinion on 20 and 19 Dyer Street? I know that has a title issue. Is there any way that could be somehow developed in the city's name and then end up somehow resolving the title one way or another?
We're gonna deal with those properties in executive session tonight.
Okay. I apologize for making you stand up.
Very well.
And actually, if I may, just to clarify what Rick said, properties 4, 5, 6, 7, 16, and 17 we'll discuss in executive session.
Okay.
So does that change how we should move, or is the motion as written, what you need?
It can always be changed in executive session.
To this
Okay.
motion.
Do we really want to be landlords though?
We'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
Okay, so what is the suggested motion from city manager?
The suggested motion would be that, I believe it was property number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion would be for property 2 for us
To be
to allow
retained.
for the city, the municipality to hold that property, and then move on the other properties to either sell or create a payment agreement.
All
Okay,
right.
Mr. Chair, I move that the city council hereby authorizes the listed properties with exception of number 2. Wait, I hereby authorize that property 2 be retained by the city, and that the remaining properties listed for sale with a realtor, and authorize the city treasurer to make payment arrangements with prior owners of properties in accordance with the city's policy of tax acquired properties.
Second.
Thank you, Mike and Doug. All those in favor of supporting that motion? Thank you very much. 6-0, motion passes. On to old business. Do we have anything for old business?
No, sir.
Seeing
No,
none.
sir.
How about new business? Let me see, item number 15 for new business is National Incident Management System Overview for senior officials. And this is just a discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, what this means is yourself, as well as your deputy chair, are required to attend this session, or
Yes.
one of these sessions as part of the incident management in Aroostook County.
Yes. To which you had we'd already scheduled that via.
Correct, I had sent it to all council for an FYI.
Okay, very well.
Yep.
All right, on to item number 16 under new business. Our bylaw changes for the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. Anybody care to give a quick breakdown of this, or is that my job?
No, I'll actually recognize our assistant manager. She has worked on this and can speak to it.
Welcome, Sonia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's two broad purposes of the bylaws changes that the Recreation Board is looking to do. One is to shore up their meeting times and to make communication about those meeting times more clear. And the second is to replace our vice chair with a treasurer. And the purpose of this, the treasurer, backing up, would also serve as a second to the chair in the absence of the chair. It's basically for the overall health of that board. The first is fundraising support, so they can actually start seeking some funding outside of city funding, strengthen that board financially.
And is that why they need a treasurer?
Yes.
Okay.
And strategic planning, the financial aspects of strategic planning, it would be helpful to have a treasurer as well. And then support for overall financial health. So with expanded grants or funding streams, there would be more difficult, maybe more complex reporting requirements. And the last item having to do with finances is the request that our city finance director actually sit as an ex officio to help oversee some of the grants that they are hoping to acquire for the sustainability of the community center in general, not simply recreation, but community center in general.
Very well.
And we would need a couple public hearings on this, I believe.
Okay. So the public hearings would come after a motion and vote to adopt the changes to the Rec and Parks bylaws, correct?
I'm sorry, say that
I
one.
think we need the
Well-
public hearing first.
Yeah, this,
I don't think that's.
So-
does
And
not
this is,
recommend public
local, so you really, it's the council that changes these versus ordinance, we have to have the public input.
That's what it
Because the
is.
council appoints the board, so.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
internal.
so you can,
Internal.
yep, you can change them if you want.
Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the changes to the Recreation and Parks bylaw as submitted.
Motion
Second.
by Meg, seconded by Craig. All those in favor? Thank you. 6-0. Motion carries. All right, well, that brings us towards the end of our meeting with the manager's report next. Mr. Tyler Brown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, council. This is more of a state of the city or a year-end recap for 2024. So it'll be a few minutes long, but it won't be as long as Tom. That said, it is a great honor to be before you today and reflect on the state of the city, a community that is rooted in resilience, vision, and unwavering hope for the future. As we gather this evening, we don't simply review the challenges we face, but more importantly, to look forward to the bright future that's ahead of us. In ways that we do that, first and foremost, we set clear and measurable goals for a greater future. This year, in 2024, we continued our commitment to a transparent, focused, and inclusive vision. At the core of our work is the implementation of our STAR chart. Those were clear, measurable goals in which we accomplished many, as you'll see in your workshop next week. Through this framework, we defined our aspirations clearly, and it allowed us as leaders, residents, and business owners to contribute feedback, share insights, and remain part of the process. In this way, we ensure that every member of our community has a voice in shaping the future of Presque Isle. Our community is specifically built on 3 pillars: business, tourism, and smart modernization. Presque Isle is and will remain the service center or heart of Aroostook County, and we will continue to stand as the vibrant heart that powers our region's economy. Through our collective efforts, we will create a future that is not only sustainable, but one that draws people and investment from across Maine and beyond. Speaking about finance, in fiscal year 2024, we had seen considerable growth in our finances. Our revenues were up over $800,000 in new revenues, $800,000 above budget projections. And our overall budget for 2025 is, after being passed, $20 million. This substantial figure reflects both the opportunities and challenges we face, with rising costs pressing on every sector. we have made hard decisions to prioritize investments that will drive future growth and economic vitality. One of our most significant investments has been the revitalization of the Presque Forum, which has already yielded over $325,000 in new revenue streams. We'll see new siding, improved foundation, and will continue to be a cornerstone of revenue opportunities for the future. In 2025, looking forward to 2025, one of our key items is to address outward migration and demographic trends. As we look to the future, we must acknowledge a key challenge, and that is outward migration. We have a population of approximately 8,611 residents in Presque Isle, and we've experienced considerable demographic shifts over the past few years. Our youth population, specifically from the 18 to 24 age range, represents just 8% of our population. That's a concerning statistic for us overall, and one that we must work to correct. Ooh, I just lost myself. Another item we'll look to address in 2025 is housing affordability. Overall, housing affordability, the median income, depending on your data source, is roughly $70,000 to afford a single-family home within Presque Isle or within Aroostook County itself. We've currently been stagnant in our housing development and housing growth, and that is our main focus and main priority, along with the state and federal governments. I'm sure you've seen it is a priority overall. As far as our downtown revitalization is concerned, we are working. We did receive in 2024 the Smart Growth Project of the Year for the Downtown VPI Initiative, the Village Partnership Initiative that will guide us through the revitalization process. In addition, we did also launch a refurbished facade grant program that supports small businesses in revitalizing their storefronts and driving economic growth. We've seen some good success out of that already, with one business taking part and others showing interest as well. And then in addition, we'll be looking at technology, a new area of communication and decision making. As Presque Isle moves to the future, we'll be embracing the implementation of Placer AI, which allows us demographic as well as consumer spend data, so that we can enhance not only our revenues, but help us make decisions, smart decisions, to utilize taxpayer dollars accordingly. And when I say that, a few months back, I did put on the board our road paving schedule and how we currently run in either a 7 or 12-year cycle. However, we don't take into consideration the number of users on those roads per day. So we're paving roads that have less use than others that may see more use. So therefore, it's utilizing technology to make sure we're making better decisions. With that said, I'm really happy and proud of our team for 2024. Our team did an amazing job overall, not only with a year of transition, but a year of considerable growth as well. And I couldn't be happier with the city staff and the great work that they've done. And we're really looking forward to presenting to you next week and giving you a little bit more in-depth insight into each department and not only what they do, but what they can offer and what we plan to do in the future. So that's all. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. And very much looking forward to 2025 and all that's good that comes with it. On to announcements. I really don't have anything
Yeah, I'm totally
for
forgot about that when
announcements.
I was doing all
I'm gonna
the-
wing it though.
Yep, and I didn't see
You
nothing,
want
I
some
just looked on-
announcements?
Yep,
You gotta have to tune in to the city's Facebook page or their website or the forum's Facebook page and keep yourself up to date with all the cool stuff that's going on. There's plenty to do, plenty happening. Even in the dead of winter and January and February, there's still all kinds to do. Pray for snow. We need it. Everybody wants to go skiing, skating, snowmobiling, everything else except Hank.
Not everybody.
But whatever. So
Economy needs it, Hank.
that pretty much concludes our January 8th, 2025 regular city council meeting for the city of Presque Isle.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn to executive session.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Meg, and thank you, Hank. All those in favor? Looks like we're ready.